I do. The problem is the email. Okay, stop.
I got my son, I got it at Prairie. And I sent it to David.
Our papers are laying.
Okay, so I
You
did
better
them on
send
the
it to me.
thing.
That Todd was in the meeting. He said that idiot trustee posted that with his number. Oh, it said that was my mother. Kathy did it. We ready?
Yes.
I'd like to call the meeting to order for June 24th, 2025. Please rise for a moment.
Engine 231 dispatch. Engine 231 guns.
Thank you. Would you please join in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Wednesday, during the moment of silence, we can think, where has the time gone? Where the years almost half over. Okay, roll call. Trustee Sheets.
Here.
Trustee Hunter here. Trustee here. Okay, Paula, the financial report.
Okay, for tonight's meeting, there were 13 checks, that totaled $20,611.90. And that does include the check for the sidewalk repair. The last payroll, the gross was $75,523.75. Payment to IRS for $10,239.16. One to deferred comp for $660, and to the credit union for $360. I haven't heard anything on Fairfield's check where they paid $100,000 that's due in June. I haven't heard anything so far. And on second half real estate advance, we've received $225,000. The last meeting, I mentioned that Fifth Third had returned a check that Rumpke had made out. I did, in the meantime, before I got to the bank, Rumpke had sent a new check, not to replacement check, but another amount. And I took them both into the bank, and they were going to redeposit the one they had returned, deposit the new one. And the one they returned, I had done it through the ATM, and they sent like a photocopy, and it said you can redeposit this. It was kind of weird. The gal at the bank said, since I was doing it actually through a teller, that if any of those got kicked back out, I probably wouldn't get the check back. So it would go to Rumpke, I guess. So I don't know. But every check that Rumpke's ever given us has been made out the same. Why that was an issue, I don't know. Anyways, so.
Have you heard any more about that fiasco with the payroll check?
Well, I have I did, yeah, well, in the mail that I got last week was a thing from Fifth Third Bank saying that when I talked to Fifth Third Bank originally, I got transferred around to like a zillion people and explained it all to them. And the mail I got last week was a thing from them saying that the dispute resolution that there wasn't any, I forget how they had it worded, but basically it was, they didn't see where there was a dispute. But I don't think all those people I talked to really listened to what I was trying to explain to them, what the issue was. So I called back and was on the phone one day last week, probably half the day, getting transferred around again. And one of the first few people I talked to, I said, would it help if I just go into the branch and try to talk to some? And they're like, no, they can't do any of that. And after I got transferred a bunch of times, the last guy said, talked to, or one of the second to the last guys I talked to, he said, well, maybe go into a branch. And then the last guy says, well, it won't do you any good to go into the branch because there's really nothing we can do. So I did go into the branch anyways, because I had to go in with those checks. And so I explained to the lady that I had talked to, and I had went ahead and called the bank where it got wrong routed to. And they had originally told me 2 weeks ago that to have our bank send them a letter, which is what I originally told Fifth Third to do, or asked them to do. And they obviously hadn't done it. And then when I talked to them all last week, it was like, well, you know, whatever. So when I went into the branch, that lady said she had never heard of that, but different banks have different procedures, and she would have to check with legal and get back to me. So I am writing a letter to the misrouted bank and asking them. And the 2 times I did talk to them, because when I explained it to them, I understood the guy would say they put a freeze on that account and they need a letter to be able to send it back. But I'm just going to do the letter. I'm not going to mess with the third anymore.
This one.
Like I said, it's been crazy, but and the lady at the bank told me, she goes, when you get transferred, a lot of the times it means nobody knows the answer. So they just, that's why they keep transferring you.
Well, no,
So, like, okay.
I don't think I would tell everybody.
No, that's what she told me. So, because I told her, I said, I'm really kind of disappointed, because I said, if the answers I'm getting now should have been the answers I should have gotten 2 weeks ago, and we could have went in a different direction. So,
Right. I'll make a motion to pay our expenditures. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Trustee Hunt?
Yes.
Trustee Good?
Yes.
Okay. On to our departments. Our deputy is not here, so we'll go right on to Greg.
Right, Timberlake paving is, they're gonna mill it out Thursday and Friday, and they're scheduled to start putting the new pavement down on the 2nd. Also, the Gay Road surface treatment is on budget, possibly a little lower. We've been working on our 2nd round of mowing roads, trying to get back into places that were too wet. And we just decided to do everything over again, so they'll all be freshly mowed. The project we got on Rolling Hills Lane, we were going to do it today, but we had trouble finding some connecting pieces that we needed to put it all together. I think he actually got those, so we may start on that tomorrow. I'm not sure he got everything he needed, but he was looking for some pieces that ADS did not have, so about those.
Would Ferguson have them?
He went there today. We don't probably want to do that a whole bunch.
They called me because he said he didn't keep the tax exempt form.
Yeah.
And wanted me to email him the tax exempt form. And I said, well, do you know you called the trustee at home? I think he thought I was Robert's secretary.
Oh. Okay. So, yeah, I think we're gonna maybe get started on that tomorrow. I don't think it'll take too long once we get going on the post.
But he said you guys had picked up connectors.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, that's what we needed to even do it. So we've got all the tile back here in the garage, so we're ready for that. Then obviously we've been mowing cemeteries, and we actually had two burials.
and do you have good news you want to tell us about Timberlake?
Other than they're getting the paving.
The whole thing? Did Robert tell you?
Oh,
He said he was going to brief, he said, I'm pulling into Greg's now, I'm going to brief him.
yeah.
You
They're
can
going
share
to
that
go
news.
all the way back, which wasn't the original plan. I don't know what the original plan was, but he said, it surprised me because they had worked it out to go do all Timberlake circuit. So,
Or the same amount that they
and
originally.
possibly it may come in under that because I guess in the last couple weeks, prices have dropped on, I don't know if it's the asphalt or what, but something dropped, and
When he talked to the county, they're like, well, plan on what we told you, but there was a price drop, so you may get in a little under that, so.
Good.
Nice.
That's it.
All right. Before we go on, and I forget, I will make a motion to transfer $15,000 from 01-A-26, which is other, to 01-B-07, for repairs for the sidewalks and the doors. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter.
Yes.
Trustee Good. And
Yeah.
probably should make that.
Do you
a
want me to?
resolution.
Yeah. I'll make that resolution 33. Okay, now we will go on to fire chief.
All right, it was a safety stand down week last week, so we had a pretty busy week. It was, the theme was behavioral health reset, so we had some behavioral health training. We actually had State Fire Academy brought in their fire behavior lab, so we had that for about 4 days here. We had the driving simulator here also. Actually, our road crew all went through the driving simulator. I'm not sure how many fire trucks they crashed, but I'm sure they crashed a few on purpose, but that was fast. So yeah, we just took that as an opportunity to really help us, for both departments, because really it's an opportunity to, give us an advantage when it comes to point that out in insurance too, that we're going through driver's training. We had Prairie, Pleasant, Scioto, Jefferson, and Jackson Township all participated with that. Other training companies attended training at Mount Carmel. Apparatus wise, we had some Stratofighter had some PM, other equipment, numerous repairs. Hose testing was completed. We had our hearse cutters are out of service, and we're working with replacement right now while they get ours fixed. We also had to replace a computer here in the township hall that failed. It broke and just died on us, so we replaced that computer. It was one of the ones that was on older computer that was on the list anyway, and it just died, so we got it replaced.
Did you ever find that computer that was mine and I brought it into you?
We found, I think we did. I think we found it, but then we were missing another one. Yeah, so we found yours because it's in my office. So yes, we have yours. Station-wise, the building, the concrete walkway was completed. They completed that last week. We're working with Robert and his guys. We're going to get some topsoil, reseed it, get some more stone filled in around on the other side, but it turned out really well.
Yeah, it did. Looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. They did a nice job. But unfortunately, on the bad side of that is how they had the door to the township hall. We're going to have to replace that. They actually had the whole door on the outside concrete. It was never attached to the building itself. It wasn't screwed in anywhere. And so we're working on getting prices and getting that fixed. I know it's not going to be cheap, but it's. Yeah.
I've seen that move before. The whole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's why, because it was never bolted and it was sitting on the outside of the building. It was sitting on the outside concrete where the sidewalk was, never on the inside. Yeah.
I think Joe Benson helped us with
Who?
Joe Benson at Grove City because we had to replace one of the doors, but I don't know if he was helping us because of the locks that we have. We have those key locks.
Yeah.
Might check with him.
Okay.
It was a big door like that.
I'll check. I'm gonna have to get 4 or 5 prices because it's not gonna be cheap
Yeah.
to replace.
Yeah, I forget. If you remind me, I could try to look it up and see who it was.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. But yeah, so I'm gonna, we have one guy look at it and he was looking at, asking him, see if he'd give us a price. And then we're searching to see who else can give us a price to do that. So if I get some prices within the next week, maybe if we can do a conference call or something and get something approved so we can move forward with that. instead of waiting until the next meeting, because it's gonna take a while probably. Just put that on the radar if that's possible. So, we're gonna get the HVAC service, unit risk reduction, did some building inspections, installed smoke alarms. Billing wise, Medi-Count is going to change the submitting check once a month. It's going to eliminate the need for the township to pay for a drop box according to what Paula has said, which I think it's I don't know how much was that, $400 or $500 a year.
I said minimum.
Yes.
I think that was a monthly.
Yeah, well, that's even better then. So that'll save us some money. And actually, we just got a check. So for all the runs that we take to the prison, Medi-Count they can't bill for that because Scioto Township has a contract. So we have it set up now where Scioto Township bills for our runs, and then once they get reimbursed, they're reimbursing us. So I just gave Paula a check for EMS runs to the prison, and they went back a little ways for almost $14,000 that we were able to recover, which was good. Yeah. And then dispatching, met with, we've got a couple of meetings scheduled on locution with Grove City coming up, and I think that's about it.
I have something.
Yep.
We used to get a list of who got longevity and how much,
I will get
like
that
how
for
many
you.
years. It's just good to have
Yes.
when we go through our budget and when we go through just keeping track of our money.
I will get you that list, and I'll make sure I make a note that you get that annually on that.
That's what we're gonna do next month. And in the future, I think we need to work on our communications all the way around. For example, that flashover simulator,
Uh-huh.
if we had known it was here and the people that called us complaining about smoke, we could have answered the question and been done with. And something like that out of the ordinary, if just the guys had walked around and told the neighbors, they probably would have been happy and not called if they had known ahead of time what was going on.
Yeah.
Just
No, and
Just
actually, we
as a
did.
courtesy to, no matter what it is, that, or if we're doing something at the park, just to let people know, get it out.
Okay, yes. And we did go talk to the neighbor that complained, and they were, she had one of her ladies across the street, and they were very appreciative of learning what was going on and stuff, because we get to monitor the smoke and stuff. And so they weren't aware, and they thought we were having something permanent. They were all nervous. So they were very appreciative that we were getting the training, and we come over and talk to them. So.
Yeah. And I think that's all it
Yeah.
usually takes.
And that's one of the, you don't think about that up front because we're trying to get everything organized and get everybody in here. But I'll make a note that we, something like that in the future, that we kind of keep people,
Okay.
put it out there anyway, even if we put fire department training signs up and some things like that too, that may help
Right.
also for anybody who's driving by. So, yep.
And speaking of communication, I got an email from the gentleman on Oakhurst that had the rocks. And I know the one that we had to repair the road there in front of his house.
Where the rocks work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, a roofing company put big ruts in front of his yard. And he said he can't even mow over them. And so I told him that you guys would just go out and take a look. He's got the information for the roofing company and he's called them. And they said they were going to come out and throw grass seed out. And he said it needs a lot more than grass seed.
Understandable. I know they are not happy about the rocks being removed from the right of way.
I emailed him and I said,
That's just tough
Yeah.
because if somebody would happen to wreck on those,
And
it's
I-
not gonna be him paying, it's gonna be
I told him, I said, he doesn't know how sorry we are that we were forced into a position.
Right.
To force him to move those rocks.
Yeah.
But we had no choice.
Yeah, I mean,
He was
that's,
very nice about it.
I mean, I get it. You get used to something and it probably was serving a purpose, but you can't have, I mean, some of them were. If you would have hit them with a regular car, it would have,
And I know of at least 2 complaints people did.
yeah, you can't
that's-
do that. And we're responsible for that,
Right.
so.
So, but if he could just go out there, take a look tomorrow and,
Sure. Are you wanting us to fix it, or is he gonna hold the roofing company responsible for fixing it?
well, as he said, I sent the email to Robert, forwarded it on to him. But like he said, it's the right of way, it's not his problem. Since,
Well, it isn't. He,
have Robert take a look, well, it's not.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he couldn't put his rocks there. We
Oh, I
made him
know
move them, so it's the right of way.
Right.
So,
Don't you have to maintain your right, even though it's not
He
yours?
doesn't have to. I mean, it is, I mean, it's part of his yard, but he can't do what he wants to do.
Right.
So,
But I mean, like maintenance wise, like mowing and stuff, isn't that the homeowner's responsibility to mow the right of way in front of their house?
if they want it to be mowed, yeah, because we don't have the manpower
Right.
nor the equipment to run around and mow every right of way.
Right.
It's just,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I've seen
I
anybody who
mean,
doesn't maintain that.
we can go out there and fix the dirt if that's what he's asking for, and we can spread it out there, but we can't keep it. I mean, trash trucks, school buses, people in general, that when you live on a corner like that, unfortunately, it's probably gonna happen.
you
But
go out and take a look, and if it's out of the ordinary bad, kind of the way he put it,
Well, you gotta remember too, it was probably pretty soggy when they were running through that.
yes.
So I'm sure that they put some
Mhm.
big old tire marks through there.
'Cause it
Is that
probably
gonna
happened
happen when it's
with-
bone dry? It probably wouldn't hurt it at all, but,
Right.
so, I mean, like I said, if you want us to throw some, if we need to, we can take dirt out there, but you know, if it happens, I mean, I don't know if you wanna say, we'll fix it, but I
See
don't know. how you wanna
what,
handle
see what
it.
Robert has to say when he looks at it.
I just, I
And I
can't
forwarded it
tell him,
to-
well, we'll fix it and it won't happen again. I mean, that's,
Right,
If he has the contact information with the roofing company and made contact with them, and they've offered to do something, we repair it and send them a
right.
bill for it. They may pay it, they may not.
yeah, we went out and put grass seed up. We've already seeded that on his bare spots. It's on both sides of the road. It's not just him. The people that live on the other side of the road had them all the way down through there, and then coming down Oakhurst Drive, there was a guy that had them lined up, and I mean, we took out a bunch. So I totally get what they're doing, but you can accomplish the same thing by putting, like, people do the reflectors. Some people consider those targets. Some people say, oh, I'm not supposed to drive over those. Kind of common sense, but maybe we can do something like that. I don't know. I'll ask Robert what he wants to do, but if it looks bad, we'll help him out.
All right. Okay, we'll go on. Do we have any old business? Okay, on to new business. We received an email from Kaylee from Local Waste about 2944 Norton Road. She said the road was closed due to construction. They were unable to access 2944 Norton Road when they were out collecting last week. And she asked if it's closed completely, can they get through? Any suggestions? Do you have any suggestions?
That's a good look at it.
I put a,
It's by Oakhurst.
Yes.
I put a little map on here. It's the third house from the roundabout.
They're talking about the bridge being out and they didn't figure out a way to route around that to get these people's trash.
The picture that she sent with it, they were on the south side looking north. They said they couldn't get through.
Yeah, but they could have come down either a crop or they could
Right.
have went the other way and come up to the circle and come back in that way.
And I think that's the only property, maybe that and then the neighbor to the north, that's in the township. All the rest are in the city.
They could get in, they should be able to get into school there, right? On the south side,
No, this would be north of that,
north of it.
back by the roundabout.
By the roundabout? Oh, the third house down. from the
Third
roundabout.
house south of the roundabout.
Yeah, but that house is way north of that bridge.
Yeah,
They shouldn't have had any problem getting to that. We can go, I mean, we can
Yeah.
drive up there and mow the grass at Gundy with no problem. That's about as far as you can go.
I mean,
And you can still
they
get
have to
into
back
the,
up, they'd have to back up. Is what they're gonna have to do.
or they can pull into the old golf course.
well, no, they.
No, if
they
it's north
can't
of
'cause
the
it's
bridge.
Oh,
north
okay.
of
Well,
that.
there's a turnaround up there too, where that property with the old barn, you could turn a trash truck around there.
Yeah,
Where's
I
that
don't
at?
know how much of that the county's.
If you come up over the bridge and it kind of goes like this, over the creek, as you're coming up the hill, there's a spot, I mean, it's not a driveway, it's just a pull off, I'm assuming from where there's a barn that sits right on, you can just barely make out the top of the roof. And that whole piece of the land is for sale right there, or was. But there's a little spot in there where trucks could turn around in there.
Show me on this map.
You're talking about the Johnson Road roundabout,
Yes,
not the.
Yeah, south of there.
where would it be? 'Cause here's where the road's closed.
Yeah.
And this is the property that they're talking about. All of those houses are the city. I believe that either that house or that house is township, but all the rest are the city.
And this is crop.
No,
No, it should
that'd be
be
Johnson.
Johnson, yeah, because it's
Johnson.
it's the north side. I'll go drive up there tomorrow when I can, because I don't know how much, if the county's using that spot there, but still, they should be able to get into those houses, because those people can get to their houses. And if they can get to their driveways, that means the trash truck can get there, they just may have to back up.
Or, I mean, there's no traffic coming.
Yeah,
They'd be backing
should
up
able to-
Back down.
to the
Yeah, they
roundabout.
should be able to back up and turn around, there's no traffic coming.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they got it blocked off, you know what I mean? They're saying road closed way before where they gotta go down there, so you shouldn't have hardly any traffic except for the people that live there coming there. I don't understand why they would have.
I'll go look at it tomorrow, Nance, and then let you know.
And I believe across the road, there's, if any of those houses are finished, I think there's one house.
Yeah, they're all done, all three of those are all
Oh, yeah,
done.
they're brand
Are
new
they?
ones, they're all
And
done.
so they have to get their trash.
Yeah,
They should be able to
Like I
get
said,
to
if
all
people
that.
can get to their house, there has to be.
they
a
should be
way.
able to get you.
They're not blocking access. So
Yeah, and that last house is probably, it's a good 100 yards or more north of that bridge at least.
Yeah,
Probably
that's what I'm
200
saying.
yards. Yeah,
But if it's on the, I guess you'd call that the east side,
yeah,
right past where that house is where I'm talking about, they could turn that truck
Yeah.
around.
I'll go look out and see.
All right, thank
So-
you.
But I don't know how far up they're allowing you to get towards the bridge, but that, where I'm talking about, there's plenty of room, you would
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I don't know how much room the county's taking on the road.
Yeah.
I'll go look at it and see, and then we'll go.
Thank you.
I'll get some pictures too. That way you can get a visual of it.
Okay.
I think I would ask if they have a policy against backing.
That could be part of the issue also, that they're not allowed to back up liability reasons.
You're probably right about that.
Parking on the opposite side of the road, so. I don't know. I mean, they may, I mean, I know when I'm driving down the road and they're in my lane, because they're getting a trash can, so well, you can do that, but you can't back. Yeah,
I agree.
Seems like that's a little backwards, but.
I agree. Westerville years ago had somebody walk behind a backing trash truck, even with the noise going, and they got run over.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so. It's a different world.
Any other new business? Okay, announcements. The Big Darby of Ford Master Plan Amendment meeting is tonight at Prairie Township Rec Center. The topic is Parks and Open Space. This is their third workshop, and we would like to thank Paul Denton for attending those meetings and representing Pleasant Township. If you see anything on the back of your agenda, my printer messed up the first time. I didn't want to waste the paper.
We also got another road closure, Harrisburg, Georgesville Road over Darby Creek. Going to close June 30th for 180 days, weather permitting. And then the detour is going to be 665 to Bigger Road.
That's gonna be a mess.
Where was that at?
Harrisburg, Georgesville Road, the bridge.
Right beside Trapper John's.
Oh,
Hey, anything else for announcements? Okay. Paula?
do you want to do that resolution? Okay. No time.
I will make resolution 34. To appoint Trustee Sheets as a representative and Paula as the alternate. For the pursuant to Article 4 of the intergovernmental contract, each member of OTARMA is required to appoint a representative and an alternate. The representative or alternate shall vote on behalf of the member on any matter that requires a vote by members. As a liaison, the representative or the alternate shall be the contact person between the pool and the member on issues relating to risk reduction, loss control, pool rules and regulations, instructions directed to the member, obligations of the member imposed by the IGC, or any other communication directed to a member. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Trustee Hunt?
Yes.
Trustee Good.
Yes.
Okay, Paula?
Okay, let me find the link here. I will, kind of follow up just like an email so we have it, but, just real quick on some payroll issues. On the June 3rd payroll, when, it was necessary to put in the new, deduction rates for employees' share toward their premium, there was a coding error, and it caused them to be, have the old amount deducted and the new amount deducted. That's all been taken care of, and all adjustments was made on employees' checks on the payroll on the 17th, so that was it. On longevity, the full-timers was paid on the July 3rd, and then the chief gave me the employees to do for the part-timers, and they were also taken care of on this last payroll. So that should all be done for this year. And then one of the firefighters, I guess I got an email from the chief that he had worked for us part-time and full-time, and he thought that he had Social Security withheld on his full-time wages, but according to my records, he did not. I think his confusion is that, and I'm not sure why it took so long to say something, because it was in 23 and 24, but he worked part-time up to September of 2023. Then he started working full-time. He worked October, November, December of that year. And then January of 2024. And then there was a pay period that he went back to part-time. But with the ADP, when you're full-time, you have a file number. And then when you're on part-time, you have a totally different file number because you've got different deductions. But I couldn't find anything where he paid Social Security. So hopefully that. I mean, if he's got something to show that he did, but he will have W-2 showing Social Security taken out, but he should also, that would be under one file number, but he should then have a W-2 under a separate file number, which would have been his full-time employment, and there is no social taken out.
Okay.
So hopefully that took care of that matter.
Can you send me an email with that clarification? So
But I mean, if he's got anything to show anything different, but I went back through 23 and 24 both, and I think that's where his confusion is where he had that overlapping with working full time. But everything I showed was had that it was finished. So I think that, I guess that's it on that. I don't know. I had saw something where about like the unclaimed funds, where Ohio has unclaimed funds. And I did look under there for Pleasant Township, and I found two. One was from, says 2013 Suburban Propane for $121.23, and T-Mobile, and said in 2025, but we don't use T-Mobile, so I'm not sure why, but it said $5.60, so for a refund. So we have $126.83, and for me to be able to file for it, I have to be authorized to do that with the township. So if you want to authorize me to get that $120-some.
The T-Mobile, could that be a different Pleasant Township?
It has our address.
Okay.
So, but I mean, it very well could be. Like I said, I don't know of anything we've done with T-Mobile, but it says refund due, and it has Pleasant Township, 5373 Norton Road. And also, I know we did use Suburban years ago at one time, but yeah. So, but if you authorize me to do that.
I'll make resolution 35 to authorize Paula to request the unclaimed funds in the amount of
a total of $126.83.
hey,
I'll second that.
roll call.
Trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Trustee Hunter?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Let's see here. I think Ed may have spoke with this person, but I had received a couple emails from, it was he said he's a site selection consultant, and his client searching for sites, ideally 100+ acres of land for spirit storage and farming in the Midwest. And specifically, the project includes new construction of barrel storage warehouse and the creation of 10 new jobs with an average pay of $29. And they did say they had located a spot within Pleasant Township. I was asking my opinion on whether they thought how it would fit. And I told them that, suggested they come to a meeting or speak to someone else. And then I think he was going to call Ed because they said they needed some kind of, did you call me?
She did. Wouldn't tell me where it's at in the township. Said it was a 100 acre parcel. They wanted to erect a warehouse and to store bourbon, Kentucky bourbon. Said it would be for approximately 20 years storage, and the remainder of the property they wanted to farm. And they'd been through, talked to zoning, and zoning told them they were just putting a barn up to store bourbon in and going to farm the rest. It would still remain agricultural. And I questioned about truck traffic bringing barrels in and taking barrels out, and they said there would be some of that. They also mentioned that they wanted to be a very good neighbor, and if there was opposition to it, they didn't want any part of it. And then they also mentioned that if people liked the idea, they would even be open to putting a tasting room in. But
Maybe Pleasant Township
They
could get a
would.
burned named after us.
they would not tell me where it was at, so I said, I really can't.
How
give
can you, yeah, I was gonna say, how can you answer that question not knowing where? Some places that would fit in
Yeah.
great, others maybe not so much.
I emailed that guy back and told him to
Yeah.
come to a meeting.
Yeah, well, that's what I had said.
And that's pretty much what I thought.
Have to be rezoned commercial, wouldn't it?
Not if they're farming it. The 100 acres.
What, in the
But the
email,
building-
it said what they were going to put farm would be, what is it, the rye that goes,
I think
that they make the bourbon with? Whatever they make bourbon with. You know.
Wait a minute. What did you write?
Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
That's probably right. Yeah. That's one. It could be
Yeah,
done
that's,
cold.
it said the remaining acreage will be farmed likely rye that will then ultimately be used to make the spirits.
They probably don't want to disclose the location.
Said the distillery is not and will not be at this location.
That's what it said.
Yeah.
How you answer that one?
You can't.
Right.
Well, that's why I said I did let him know, that I said, just so you know, that it's like very limited areas with water or sewage, so that might make a difference.
Right.
Okay, Tech Review Committee was scheduled for today, but it was canceled. Rural Zoning had a meeting on June 20th. Franklin County Public Health sent out just an update on everything. Quite a few emails from Swaco, just kind of informational. They did say Swaco is offering free household hazardous waste collection events. There's one in Gahanna, June 28th. The Grove City one is not till September 27th, and Westerville is October 4th. Just the rest are just kind of informational emails, emergency management, lighting safety awareness week. Yeah, lots of emails, information from the State Township Association. Yeah. Out of the ordinance.
Anything for Paul? Okay. Do you have anything? Do you want, yeah.
No.
All right. Then, do you have anything? Then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Sheets?
Yeah.
Trustee Aaron?
Yes.
Trustee-
Yes.
100 acres.
Yes.
And have already something on.
Say hi, Chief.
All right. Yeah. All that.